Hey, what's up? My name is Ange. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over all of the books that I read in the month of April. This was a slower month for me. If you saw my wrap up and my TBR video last month, I think I read 11 books in March. This month, I think I only read 7 and I DNF'd 1. So that is way different from what I normally do. Typically, I don't DNF books. I kind of just like to suffer through it and figure it out. However, this month, I did not do that. So I will be going over my 1 DNF at the end, but I'm sad to say that I finally, I just had to DNF something. The first book that I read was Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I read this one for a video, but this one follows Magnolia Parks and BJ Valentine. They are London socialites. They are very much in the public eye, and they have a very, very toxic relationship that it seems like everybody is following and everybody knows their business. So it says that they're written in the stars, suspended in a strange kind of love that kind of looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people and he sleeps with other girls to get back at her. They're together, but they're not together, and you kind of just, there's no, without saying it, there's not really a plot to it, but there is. You're just kind of in their lives with them and following them along. They can't stay away from each other. The whole thing from this book is how many loves do you get in a lifetime. Overall, I thought that this one was, I give this one 4 stars. I said that it's really, really toxic. This is not a good relationship. This is nothing to look up to, but it was very, very interesting to read and I really did enjoy it. Jessa Hastings' writing is so different from what I normally read. The way that she writes is so interesting. So I'm really happy that I finally got to this book. I have the next one, the first Daisy Hates, because I'm pretty sure it's a Magnolia Parks universe. I'm pretty sure Daisy Hates comes next. So I will be reading that soon. I'm not jumping for it. It just takes a lot out of me to read Jessa Hastings' writing. I thought it was good and I thought it was really interesting, but it definitely wasn't a favorite for me. So it was the first book of the month that I read. The next book that I read was The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. This is kind of the spin-off series of The Off-Campus. I guess you can call it spin-off. I don't even know. But it is about their kids, or at least she's Gigi Graham, she's Garrett Graham, and Hannah Wells' daughter. She has 3 goals. It's to qualify for the women's national hockey team, win Olympic gold, and step out of her famous father's shadow. And then Luke Ryder is on the hockey team. He was on a different school, and then their school shut down, sorry. Their school shut down, and then they had to join with Briar U, and they are kind of just rivals, and he is not on Garrett Graham's good side, and Garrett Graham runs this hockey camp that he really wants to do. She's having trouble staying strong behind the net because she's a smaller girl, so they come up with this together where it's hey, I'll help you become stronger behind the net if you put in a good word for your dad, and then they fall in love. I gave this book a 4.5 star. It would have been a 5 star, but without spoiling anything, the ending, what Gigi and Luke, or Ryder, because that's what he prefers to be called, goes through, what they do together, if you know without me saying it, because again, I don't want to spoil it. If you know what they do, I was not happy with one little thing on this book, and it just wasn't exactly a 5-star read for me, but it was very, very close to that. I am really excited to read the next book of this one. I am so happy that it was such a giant book. It was really, really, really great, but the ending on what Gigi and Ryder decide to do really irked me. I didn't think it was necessary. I thought it kind of ruined it, but overall this was a really great book and I am happy to read it. I would recommend this to anybody that loved Garrett Graham as much as I did, because I love that man so much. The next book that I read in the month of April was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This one was a book club read in honor of Cam's birthday month that she got to choose one, and this is what she chose. A full video on all our thoughts and feelings will be coming out very soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but that video should be out shortly. So you get to hear the really in-depth conversations that we have every time that we finish reading a book for the month. So this one follows Iris Winnow and Roman Kitt. They are both going for the columnist position at the Oath Gazette, which is basically a newspaper. The gods are warring and this whole war is breaking out. Iris's mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is fighting for one of the gods on the front lines, and then he goes missing and they don't know where he is. So her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette that, again, Roman Kitt is also going out for. To combat her worries for everything that's going on in her life, she starts to write letters to her brother off of her typewriter that was passed down through generations, and she slips them underneath her wardrobe door where they disappear, but where they go is to Roman Kit, and then he's writing her back anonymously. Create a connection that will follow her all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. Overall, I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. The writing, the quotes, just everything about it was so magical and enticing and amazing. I felt that the connection that Iris and Roman had together was just absolutely amazing. I loved reading about them. I loved being able to feel their love. All of the characters were so deep and they were just amazing. I absolutely love this book. I thought this was amazing, and we don't get that review in this video, but I did end up reading Ruthless Vows. I started it in the month of April, but I did not finish it until May, so that will be next month, but so amazing. I know everyone read this book. This isn't a big surprise that this isn't here. I did read it a lot later than I feel like a lot of people read it, but overall, it was so good. I love this book. The next book that I read was Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is book 4 in the Chestnut Spring series. This one follows Winter, whatever her name is. I don't remember her last name. I think it's Valentine. It's not Valentine. Whatever her maiden name is, because I don't want to call her Valentine. This one follows Winter and Theo Silva. Winter is Summer's sister from the first book, and they meet, and she's just getting out of a divorce, so she's like, let's have a one-night stand, and they write this contract on a napkin, and then all of a sudden she gets pregnant, and that's very early on in the book. They do say that, so that is not a spoiler. I'm not going to try to ruin anything for you. It says, but that little plus sign is going to keep this secret impossible to keep. She did not want anyone to know that she hooked up with this guy, but they're going to know. I rated this book 4 stars. I'm not a big fan of the unexpected pregnancy trope. However, this one was done so well. I really enjoyed reading about this one. Winter is probably my favorite girl from the series. I absolutely loved her. I felt like she's such a strong person, strong character. Everything that she went through, and still to be like, you know what, I don't need anybody. I got this. I can do it all by myself. I'm strong. Like, I absolutely love that about her. Theo Silva, what a man. Like, I love this man, and it's just, it's so just so good. A lot of people said that this was a good book to read if you are not a fan of the unexpected pregnancy trope. You will still enjoy this, and I fully 100% back that up. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. This is the one that I was looking forward to the least in the Chestnut Spring series, but I think it ended up being like nearly my favorite. The next book that I read, I actually read this one on Kindle, but I had this on my TBR for so long, was By a Thread by Lucy Score. Dominic got Allie fired from her job at, I think it was a pizza place, and then because his mother was there when he got her fired, and she like didn't agree, and she felt like, you know what, I'm gonna punish you for what you did because this is wrong. She hired Allie to go work at the fashion design firm kind of thing that they had, and he can't do anything about it. He's the CEO of, or sorry, not the CEO. He's kind of like running this family, I think it's like a magazine. I believe it's a magazine. I read this a really long time ago, and it also took me a very long time to read. I read this for like almost 2 weeks. I really loved the banter. I rated this one at 3.5 stars. I said it took me a really long time to get through because I was in a reading slump because I DNF'd the book, which I will get to at the end. So I felt like I was just trying to get back into reading and nothing was good, but I really wanted to get to this one, especially because it was on Kindle Unlimited. Sometimes long romance books drag for me, and I'm like, this doesn't need to be 500 pages, but I felt like every part of this was interesting. There wasn't a part that I felt like was dragging or made me kind of bored. I thought that no matter what was going on, it was still really interesting to read, and I felt like everything was necessary for the story. The epilogue was a little because of how quick it was, if you read this and know what I mean, but overall, it was cute. I really do like Lucy Score, and I like her writing, so this was an interesting read for me this month. I'm glad to get it off of my physical TBR. But again, it was a 3.5. It was a grumpy boss romantic comedy. It was, you know, crazy girl who's loud, outgoing, and does what she wants. Brings the grumpy guy out of being grumpy. Like, cute. I like it. The next book that I read for the month, I actually read on Kindle because it is not a physical book, but it is The Sixth Wedding by Ellen Hildebrand. This is 28 Summers 1.5. I read 28 Summers last year. It was actually my first book club read, if you watch those, but this one is kind of just, let me actually click on it. So it's a sequel to 28 Summers. So Jake McLeod returns to Nantucket for Labor Day weekend of 2023, but this time without Mallory, because at the end of the 28 Summers, you kind of know what happens. If you don't, sorry, I'm not trying to ruin it for you. But I did not read this book because it's a novella. Like, I feel like I can't rate them. It was cute, right? So I just said my review is, how did I not know this existed? Question mark, question mark. I read this little novella pretty quickly and I really enjoyed it. I wish we could have seen more of Bess and Link, but I'm really happy with what we got of them because it was pretty much a chapter a person, and then that was it. I think Jake was the only one who got two, or it was Cooper that got two, or both. I don't remember. But the ending with Jake matching with Ursula was so funny on the dating app. I have to tell you that. Like, the why was that the funniest thing ever. I'm really glad that I found out about this book and ended up reading this because I was like, it's so cute. It was like a little novella. It took me like a little bit over an hour. It was like 75 pages or something. So if it even took me an hour, but it was really cute. And I'm glad that I found it and I'm glad that I read it. The next book that I read in the month of April was All the Bright Places by Jennifer Neven. This one follows Finch and Violet Markey. Finch is fascinated by death, and every day he thinks of new ways that he might die. But he also searches for, every day, something to keep him here and alive and awake, and he always manages to find it. Violet Markey lives for the future, counting down the days until graduation when she can escape her small Indiana town and her aching grave in the wake of her sister's death. So one day, Finch goes up to the, I think it's a clock tower, is it? The bell tower at school 6 stories above ground, and that's where he sees Violet. So they're both thinking of doing something, and then he kind of talks her off the ledge, but everyone kind of spins it and thinks that she talked him off the ledge because he's freaky Finch, that kind of thing. This was actually a reread for me, so I did know what was going to happen, but it didn't make what happened hurt any less. I gave this book 5 stars because I think giving it anything less than 5 stars is just not fair. This book broke me all over again, and honestly, I think reading it now as I'm older and understand life more, it actually hurt me more. It's just such an amazing book. It is full of just like, it hurts. It physically hurts. I've been thinking about this book since I finished, but this book is so good. So the one book that I did DNF this month, and I'm sad to say that I DNF'd it because I do not DNF books ever, was Never by Jessa Hastings. This was like that Peter Pan retelling where Daphne always knew Peter Pan would come for her the way he come for her mother, her grandmother, Wendy before that. The Darling girls, their stories are all the same. The young boy at their window, whatever. Then she's 17, she's full grown, and he has no excuse for his tardiness. I think I got 70 pages into this and I was done. I hated the writing. I couldn't understand Hook. Was he even Hook? Was that the son? Jameson Hook, I couldn't understand what he was trying to say because he had like an accent. I didn't love the writing. I didn't like the characters. I thought Peter was weird. I thought she was annoying. I just was not having it. I did not like this book. I'm sorry, I DNF'd it. I couldn't handle it anymore, and I do not DNF books ever. And I can't even say it's anything against the author's writing because I really enjoyed Magnolia Parks, but it was just something about this that I was just like, no, I physically can't do it anymore. So those are all of the books that I read and one that I didn't in the month of April. Overall, I think that even though I did end up getting into a reading slump because of Never, that was in like mid-April, that it was still a good reading month, and I did find a lot of books that I really enjoyed. It was a very video focused month when it came to reading, so I'm pretty sure everything except for like 2 of these books ended up being for videos. Oh, and 3 plus a novella. So I think By a Thread and The Graham Effect were the only ones, and The Sixth Wedding, that weren't for videos, but you know what, it is what it is. I don't think that's why I had a slow reading month. I really think that Never kind of put me into a slump and I didn't want to read, so I'm hoping that May is a better reading month. If you did not see my video yet, I did do the TBR jar chooses my May TBR, which is not normally how I do my TBR videos, so I decided this month to try something different and split up the videos and do something a little bit more fun and interactive. So that one is up. I posted that. When this comes out, that'll be posted last week, so if you did not see that so far and you want to see what I am going to be reading in May, there are a lot of books on there that I probably wouldn't have normally picked out for myself for this month, especially not as a grouping like that, so I think that came out really well. But that brings this video to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.